Okay, can anybody see me yet? Let's have a look. Okay, can anybody hear? Oh, let's see. Alright, we know how amazing I am with technology and how much I'm loving it this week. All right. Let's see. Oh, hey, I'm here. Fantastic. Okay. Yay. All right. Okay, let's turn off a bit of Justin Bieber. Nobody needs to see that. Okay, so welcome to this Money Blocks clearing session. I am so excited to have you all here today. Please just jump on into the chat box. We are in there. Let me know where you are, who you are, and how you are doing today. So I would love to just check, let me know you can definitely see me and hear me and all of that good stuff before we get started. And if we are all good, this is a new record for me. This week has just been really challenging in terms of technology. So apologies to anybody that tried to log into the webinar last week and got a whole lot of nothing. I'm not quite sure what the sign is. I'm trying to learn from all of this. I think it might be the sign that I have to take a break at Christmas, but it is all good. It's all good. So I'm very excited to be here with you guys today. And this, I've said it's not just going to be an ordinary webinar, and I really I don't want it to be. So we are going to learn a lot, which is awesome, but we are also going to do a powerful energy clearing session as well. So I love people to really get something out of these and to really feel like they are getting a release. So the process we're going to do, I'm going to explain a little bit more about what a money block is, how it works, and really let you know a little bit more about how it operates, and then we're going to go in and figure out your relationship to money. So I call it my money matrix, and we really get to discover what your relationship is with money. It's a really cool process. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do another process, and we're going to clear out some of the stuff. So really, really important to do this, to really allow us to move on and move past some of these blocks. So really, really important. So super excited to get started. I'm just going to jump into my chat box and see if anybody is talking to me. Fabulous. Yeah, great. Okay, so yeah, feel free to pop in there and tell me who you are and where you are. I'd love to know who everybody is. And also, it's always good what your business is. So I might ask you during the process to just check in with me and let me know that everybody's doing great. So that's brilliant. All right, so now another, so last week when I did this process, it did feel like a little bit, I guess I'm an experiment, and I'm always trying to bring what I've learned from all of the work I've done and really change what people are doing online and trying to bring what I do to more people. So loving the little experiments that I'm doing, but really happy to report back that a lot of people got a huge amount of value from it. So it was really, really beautiful. And at the end, I'm going to talk a little bit more about if you have discovered you do have some money blocks, what we can do to help you clear them and move on, because unfortunately they don't disappear, and I've definitely had experience with that. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, but we're not going to go into too much detail on that. I'm Joanna Turner. I'm a wealth and success coach, and if you don't know me, I'm also an EFT practitioner and an NLP practitioner. And actually, as of tomorrow, I'm starting a 9-day course to become a master NLP practitioner. So I absolutely love all of this stuff, and I'm super dedicated to learning and improving myself and growing as well. So I used to be a chartered accountant, and so that's why I do end up talking a lot about money, I guess, but it hasn't always been like that. And to be honest, it's really not about the money. And I think if I bumped into a guy this morning, I went out for a walk, and an old friend, and we got chatting, and he was like, I've got to leave Australia. And I said, all right, what's going on? He's like, well, I think I'm going to move to Dubai or Qatar or something like that, because I don't think I can make money in Australia. He's like, I just don't see it happening. I'm not, he's like, I'm living pretty simply, but I'm just not able to make money in Australia. And he's like, where are you off to? Are you walking to work? I said, oh, I'm actually going to host a webinar. He said, what's it on? I said, it's about money blocks. And he said, what's that? So people definitely don't know what this is, but when I tried to explain it to him, he sort of had this little light bulb moment. And then he told me again that he couldn't make money in Australia. And I said, do you see that that's a belief you have? A lot of people make money in Australia. And he was like, okay. So it was slowly starting to sink in our little chat this morning, but it's definitely a topic that not a lot of people really know about. We're obviously, we're very lucky that we've had these realizations, but I think a lot of people, certainly when they come from corporate, it's just not the way you think. And that's okay, because what we think and the way we think is truth, and that's truth to us. And certainly in all of my years learning and working in corporate, I was an accountant for 13 years, lucky me. This stuff is just not important, I guess. It's not important to anybody in that world. And it really, and to an extent, he's right. Like if that's his profession and that's what he does and that's the job he works in, and he feels like he can't make any money, he's kind of right. And especially he's going to make himself right with those beliefs. So unfortunately, it might mean he leaves the country. But we want to change our beliefs so they are empowering and they keep us where we want to be. So I've prepared some beautiful slides. So we're going to see if I can screen share them. Let's see. Aha. Yes, we can. All right. I think. Aha, this one. All right, slideshow start. All right, beautiful. Okay, so it's me. So what is a money block? Now I couldn't, bumping into my friend this morning, I couldn't go into so much detail, but I want to really explain to you guys what a money block is. And to partly explain that, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself and where I've come from, because I think it's so important to, like, when you sort of see this stuff in context, it makes a lot more sense. So we're also going to be talking a little bit about wealth consciousness. And so I would have said my lovely friend's wealth consciousness was pretty low, I guess. He's trying to make money, but he's struggling. And he's surrounded himself with all his mates who do the kind of same thing. And they all believe the same things too. So they're all talking about how it's hard to make money in Australia, and how limited they are and what their options are. So they're all trying to build this better life, and I think we all are. And what I did very unconsciously in my life, and I've been very lucky, is when I got qualified as a chartered accountant in Scotland, Bonnie, Scotland, I already knew after 3 years doing it that I didn't really enjoy it. And so I thought, what am I going to do? I've got to at least go and do this boring job somewhere exciting. So I ended up in Bermuda, and Bermuda is a tax haven. It is a beautiful subtropical island in the middle of nowhere off the coast of the east coast of the States, all on its own. And because it's a tax haven and it's full of headquarters of insurance companies, and it's full of accountants, and everybody is making this beautiful tax-free wage and really living the life. It's very 5-star, it's very luxury, and we really lived an incredibly privileged lifestyle. And in my 20s, it opened my eyes up to a level of wealth that I had no idea even existed, or that could be possible for me in this lifetime. So it really, it opened my eyes up to what that was like. And and that I could have it too. And I think that was a really, really key understanding for me. But what I didn't realize that I'd done is that one of the premises of wealth consciousness is that we become the average of the 5 people we spend most time with. And that's true for our health, our wealth, our attitude, our relationships even, and even what we wear. Have you ever seen groups of friends, like especially sort of young kids and teenagers, and they're all wearing pretty much exactly the same, a slight variation, but it's exactly the same. And it's a little bit, I love watching them and just observing them. They've all got, Converse, but it's in different colors, and they think they're trying to be, slightly different by having a different color. So it's sort of, I guess, about fitting in. But when we put ourselves in a vibration of people that are higher and wealth that is higher, we actually raise ourselves up to that standard. When we put ourselves in a group that is lower and has less money and is less positive, we tend to become more negative and have less money to sort of blend in a bit. It's not much fun being the odd one out. So we definitely sort of go one way or another. Like if you have a group of super fit friends and they all work out together, and you want to be part of that group, then you're going to go and work out with them. So luckily you become super fit. You go to where they eat in healthy places. So it kind of rubs off on you a little bit, and money's a bit the same. So when I'm living in Bermuda and I'm seeing all these wealthy people, and I'm seeing that they're not doing anything special to earn that crazy money, you suddenly start thinking, oh, hang on, maybe I could have that too. And in my job, I was very lucky. I got a great job and started earning a lot of money, and especially from this girl from this little town in Scotland who really had no clue what she was opening herself up for. So wealth consciousness is a lot about the beliefs about money, and also about surrounding yourself with the right people. And you'll often hear people talking about a vibration. So everything has a vibration. Money has a vibration, you have a vibration, and you are attracted to things that have a similar vibration to you, and also it will come to you as well. So the more money obviously has a higher vibration. Beautiful surroundings have a higher vibration, and good feelings. So you'll often hear thoughts become things. And so good feelings and good thoughts have a higher vibration. And if you ever have a look at David Hawkins' scale of consciousness, it has a beautiful scale, and up at the top there's enlightenment, joy, love, and peace. And they all have high consciousness and high vibrational rating between 700 and 1,000. And obviously, so if they're way up at the top and you're feeling those, you're going to be attracting lots of really beautiful, amazing things into your life. Unfortunately, the other end of that scale, and this is where all the money blocks come in, the lowest vibration feelings and emotions, the bottom 4, and I will start with the fourth bottom, so not the one that's not even at the bottom, is grief, which is understandable that it's a really low vibration feeling. But below that is apathy, below that is guilt, and the very, very bottom one is shame. And I think many of us on the call will be women. If you're a man, it still counts. But women are racked with guilt and shame on a daily basis. And if we are holding on to these feelings, then we are going to be in a really low vibration and therefore not making a lot of money. So a lot of the key stuff to sort of take away from this is letting go of the shame, the guilt, and also fear is really low vibration. And we're going to be talking a lot about fear later. And these vibrations, compared to love and enlightenment up at 700, 1,000, we're talking about 20, 30, 40 as their vibrations. So really, really low vibration. So we're going to be talking about how to let go of these bottom horrible vibration, murky feelings at the bottom of this scale, and how we can really let go of that to feel naturally up at the top of this scale. Super, super important. So what is a money block? People define it in different ways. I think it's anything that stops you moving forward and making money. Anything, so really broad. They can be direct and indirect. So what I mean by that, a direct one will be what we're going to talk about a little bit more about, the money story. It's hard to make money. People that have money are evil or corrupt, or a direct relationship, or you can't break through this, your financial comfort zone. We'll talk about that. So they're kind of direct money blocks. And then there's a whole ton of indirect ones. So that really don't feel like they have anything to do with money, but they're actually stopping you making money. And these are the ones that I love working with them all, but these are the fears, the fear of judgment, the fear of success, fear of failure, fear of what everybody else is going to think. So there's a lot of, or that feeling that you don't want to be visible and you don't want to put yourself out there, step out, all of these things, the procrastinating, the avoidance, a lot of that stuff we don't realize is directly blocking money, but it truly, to me, it's a money block because it's stopping your business moving forward, and it's keeping you in a really low vibration space. Anyone that procrastinates, and I recently did a 7-day challenge about it, we judge ourselves, we feel guilty, and it just perpetuates that really low vibration feeling that we're trying to avoid. So what else a money block? Also, energetic misalignment with money or goals. And this is a bit of a funny one, but it's come up for me more and more with people I've spoken to recently. And I went and I Googled away at it, and nobody was really talking about it. I've not seen anybody else talk about this, and every time when I was Googling, goal realignment, for instance, it was only talking about how to align an employee's goals with the corporate. So as everybody was kind of moving in one direction and they were aligned. And I was like, okay, that's fair enough. But I've not heard anybody really speak about it in the entrepreneur worlds as such. And for me, we can relate back to that corporate and an employee sort of model, and change it to our family or our friends or loved ones, partner, whatever you want to say, and ourselves. So we have to sort of allow our goals to be aligned with our family goals at a really deep level. And you might think, well, if I just make money, of course it's just going to help my family. But a lot of people actually, this is a really, really deep fear that if they make money, they'll lose their family, their husband or partner will, not feel good because they don't earn as much. Their friends won't understand. They'll outshine a sibling, for instance. And there's all of these underlying energetic issues where you making money actually has a sort of a negative effect on other people, or a perceived negative effect at some level. So we've got to be really careful. And sometimes I even asked somebody this week, I said, is there any downside to you making this money? And she was like, no way. I've worked on this stuff. There's no downside ever to me making this money. And I'm always curious, because if people come on the phone with me, it's usually because they're not making as much money as they want. So there's something stopping them. And, we dug a little bit deeper, and she was so adamant, and that's fine. But it really was, for me, I said, well, what do you get on the other side of that money? What does the money allow you? And the money was going to allow her support. I was like, okay, so do you not feel supported now? And she's like, no, I do everything, it's all on me, blah, blah, blah. So for her, to make that money, she was going to have to do even more work even harder. And I felt like she didn't have that capacity. And if she was only going to feel supported once she had the money, then to get to that point almost was it was almost going to be too difficult. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how the subconscious works and the path of least resistance. So for her, it was much easier to just stay where she was and not put any extra effort in because she was feeling so unsupported. So I was like, well, what can we do to make you feel supported now without even having that money? And then she's going to be in a much, her energy is going to be much more aligned with where she's trying to go. Because you'll also hear people saying you've got to act as if you've already made the money or the money's coming to you. So for her to really move forward, she was going to have to feel supported now to start making the money. And there's different ways we can help her feel like that and change how she feels. So there's another piece about not being aligned with your goals. So I've used this example a few times, and I really like it. So I asked one girl on the phone, I said, well, she's like, oh, I want to bring on 5 clients. And, I said, okay, great, fantastic. I said, and what would happen if you brought on 5 clients next week? She said, oh my God, I would have a panic attack. I said, what would you have a panic attack about? And, we talked more, and it was about the responsibility and what she'd have to do. And she actually wasn't set up. I didn't have all her systems and structures in place. And so I was like, so you don't want 5 clients. And so her subconscious, we're going to talk about that again, it's going to protect her from having a panic attack. So she's never going to get the 5 clients. So realigning her goals into something that's not going to cause her a panic attack is going to make them a whole lot more achievable. Okay, let's talk a little bit about our financial comfort zone. So your financial comfort zone is basically, it kind of comes hand in hand with the money story below it. And it is programmed into us in our childhood. So always, usually before you're 7 years old. And if you can see me, I'm holding my hands up to sort of show you a limit. But I think if I stop sharing, it'll get a little bit complicated. So we all know what a comfort zone is, right? And we know that the magic happens when we step outside of our comfort zone. And as we step outside of our comfort zone expands. But unfortunately, it's also, your comfort zone is like a giant elastic band. And if we don't continue to push it, it'll snap back to where it was originally. And the sort of scary things we did outside our comfort zone become a bit of a distant memory, unfortunately. And your financial comfort zone is a little bit similar. So obviously, we want to expand it. Kind of goes without saying. But we all basically have an upper and a lower limit of where we're comfortable. Familiarity is the biggest driver of all human behavior. It's stronger pull than money, love, sex, and power, right? Familiarity. And it sounds so like, banal, whatever. But people like to know what's going to happen. We love certainty and this familiarity. And even if that familiar feeling is painful, we know how it feels. So people know what it feels like to have money within that bracket. They know who they are. They know how the world operates. They know how their friends treat them. They know how their family treats them. And everybody they know is probably in that financial comfort zone. So, but ultimately it probably doesn't serve us all to stay in it. But even if we sometimes, and again, a bit like this elastic band, even if we sometimes, if say your upper limit was 10K, right? And if you're trying to do everything you can do to break through 10K, but it's just really, really struggling. But suddenly you break through and you have, say, a 15K month. Amazing, right? You're like dancing and partying and all the rest of it. But then suddenly you are actually going to start subconsciously sabotaging yourself to get rid of it, to spend it, whatever you need to do to get back under that 10K barrier, because you haven't actually potentially expanded your financial comfort zone into that place. So we've got to be really, really careful that we are expanding our financial comfort zone along in line with the efforts that we're making. So really, really important. And that's going to happen when you break through to 6 figures for the first time, 7 figures, or maybe if you're launching a new course, when we're sort of breaking boundaries and moving forward, we need to grow and move forward with that. So really, really important thing to consider. And this one I often as well use the example of somebody who wins the lottery. Again, everyone's like, oh, well, of course I want to win the lottery. But I spoke to a friend the other day, and we were kind of talking about this stuff. That's how fun I am, you know, meet my friends and talk about this stuff. But she was like, she said to her husband, she's like, oh, I was just saying to Tom the other day that I actually wouldn't want to win that much money on the lottery. She said, I only really want to win 800 grand. We'd pay off the mortgage. You know, she's like, and life would be easier, but, you know, she's like, we wouldn't have to deal with who am I going to give the money to? How am, you know, all these people coming to us asking for money. And this is actually a big deal with sort of new entrepreneurs. It's that feeling almost that if I make all this money, who am I going to have to give it to? Am I going to have to give it to my parents, to my brothers and sisters? Who else is going to want a piece of me, right? And then am I still going to be that person? Are they still going to like me just for being me, or is it all going to be about my money, right? So there's a lot of concerns there, and relationships change, and it's definitely uncertain for a lot of people. So we just have to sort of manage ourselves through that and keep expanding and knowing that it's going to be totally okay when that all happens. Okay, so my phone's just flashed up, so I'm going to shift through a bit more of this quickly. I could literally talk about this stuff all day. I love it so much. So your money story is, again, comes from your childhood, comes from your parents, comes from your society, your religion, your government, everything that you have seen, heard, thought, or believed when you're very young and has been proven to you about money. So it creates all of the beliefs about how it works, how it operates, and who you have to be to have that money. So really, really powerful money stories. And a lot of people, I've had people come to me and be like, I have no money story. I'm like, oh, really? Everybody has a money story. And I've seen a few that are more like reverse money stories. So one girl came to me and she had a reverse money story, I'll call it. And she's like, I have high wealth consciousness. I don't have a money story. I just don't know what's holding me back. And I was like, okay. And we dug a bit deeper, and she had a huge money story. But breaking that, she then went off and in the next 10 days made $32,000. So she definitely needed to let go of her money story. And it's even more important if you think you don't have one. So very, very powerful what we're telling ourselves about money. Tail enders are that little piece of, and I often talk about this being the sort of the secret to true manifesting and abundance. So we hear a lot about The Secret and, manifesting and affirmations, and they're all wonderful. Do not get me wrong. They are a huge and essential part of all of this. But if we don't let go of the limiting beliefs before we start doing that, we can sort of undo all of our good work. And we don't want to be doing that. So the tail ender is how we undo all of our good work. It's the, I really want that new car. But your next thought within a second is, but it's so expensive, I'll probably never be able to afford it. So we aim to take away the tail enders, or the, oh my God, I'd love to do that. And then the little part of you is going, oh, but you don't deserve it. How could you do it? It's all right for her. She's obviously special, prettier, whatever, thinner. You couldn't do it. So the tail ender is that little voice, even though you're like, I am abundant, and then it's like, yeah, right. You know, whatever that little tail ender is that's sort of undoing all of our good work, we've got to be really, really mindful of what they are, and stop them. Limiting beliefs. Sorry. Did you see my calendar pop up there? You might have done. Okay, so hang on. Okay, what is limiting beliefs? So we've talked a little bit about them already, and I'm not going to go into this in detail because I'm slightly aware of the time. But basically, all of our beliefs create how we see the world. And do you ever notice those people that they just seem to always be lucky? They seem to think they live in this world and the world is a happy place and everything just always goes their way and they always land on their feet. They don't have a lot of limiting beliefs. And the beliefs they have set up in themselves are just really, really positive, beautiful beliefs. And then there's the people, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, maybe I did create some of my tech issues this week by getting frustrated by them. But I mean, that's just a silly example. But, you know, it's whatever we believe the world to be. All of our then experiences, the painful ones or the pleasurable ones that we have on the slide, become, I guess, evidence that our belief is true and that's how the world does work. So really, really important. So we don't choose our beliefs. They are set at this deep unconscious level. And I'm going to explain a little bit more in the next slide what your subconscious is and how it operates, because this is the key to all of this stuff, our subconscious mind. So one moment. Sorry, I was just checking. Okay, great. So, sorry, my mastermind buddies just messaged me going, are we on for today? I'm like, no, I think we've got the wrong dates. Okay, great. So, I don't know if you guys can see that on my screen share. Anyway, the subconscious mind. It is a storehouse for all of our memories and emotions. Our subconscious mind makes up between 95 and 99% of our thought patterns and our behaviors and therefore our experiences. It's an incredibly huge part of our brain that we don't really give enough credit for. So the way I explain it, our conscious mind is the one we're all thinking with right at this moment. It's the one that was like, oh yeah, I'd like to do that and signed up for the webinar. So thank you. Your conscious mind did that. It's also the one that sets those goals, the 10K, the 20K, the 50K. It's like, that's what I want, of course, right? Like, that's what I want. So it's the goal setter. Your subconscious mind is your goal getter. So it is the part that actually controls our behaviors and therefore our reality to actually find out if we can make that goal. But this is where some of this goal alignment stuff comes into. If our subconscious mind does not agree with the goal, guess what? It's not going to happen. That massive percentage, 95 to 99, is running the show. And it's usually run by a slightly scared 7-year-old. And because that's when all of our values and beliefs are set. And quite honestly, I don't want 7-year-old Joe in charge anymore. So I've been doing a lot of work to stop 7-year-old Joe running the show. She was cute, but she has no place in my world at the moment. So your subconscious mind, it is a storehouse for all of your memories and emotions. I often say it's like a giant data warehouse for everything that's ever happened to you. It represses memories to protect you. An example of this, if you're in an accident, you won't remember the 5 minutes before or after. So you get so your subconscious mind protecting you because you are not at that moment able to function and process what's happening to you. So it literally shuts you down. So if something, an event or an incident happens to you when you're young, maybe, a perceived trauma, it may have been traumatic, it depends on the person. Your subconscious, because it doesn't quite know what to do with it, it just pushes it down. And it creates our values and beliefs and our view of the world. Now, what happens is if we don't release that and sort of get rid of it, it's going to continue to create our reality and our world. And it can often be, we're going to talk a little bit about, for me, that this kind of stuff has really run my emotional eating, and sort of it can also cause a lot of destructive behavior. So we're going to talk about that. The emotional eating is like, this thing wants to come out and we just keep pushing it down because we don't actually want to deal with the thing. So there's a lot of links between emotional eating and not making money. So really, really interesting stuff. So once we have our blueprint, it runs our world. But it's not all bad, because our subconscious always has our ultimate, highest, best intention. It is always trying to protect us. So whatever we're doing, we cannot make ourselves wrong for it, because at some level our mind is doing exactly as it's been programmed to do, and that is protect us. So when I say it, so every behavior, even procrastination, which we're going to get onto in a slide in a moment, if there is any perceived downside to you doing the thing, or any pain or fear associated with the task or anything like that, as it says here, it's going to take the path of least resistance. So it's much easier and safer for you to not do the thing that has some sort of perceived pain attached to it. It's much easier to just procrastinate and put it off. Okay, so that's your subconscious just trying to protect you, and it's totally normal and it's not your fault. So I'm really, really big on it not being anybody's fault, because this is the way we're programmed. We don't have a choice when we're kids how we're programmed. But the really, really key part to all of this is that now that you know it, it can be your fault. Sorry, but knowledge is only potential power. So what I'm sort of trying to explain to you is how it works, but there is a solution and you can change it. So I think once you get an awareness of this, it's what you do with it that counts, right? Like it's very, very important. So I've made up this little pattern because I'm a very visual person, and when I see it like this, it makes a lot more sense to me, and I can sort of start to see the patterns myself and start to see what's going on. So these are money blocks up at the top, and I call this your holding pattern because it's a bit like, when you're in a plane and you're circling around the airport in a holding pattern, waiting for a landing spot. It feels like you're just stuck there forever until you potentially run out of fuel or money, and then it's all over. So we get stuck in this vicious cycle, but it can be broken. So the money blocks, I've mentioned a few of these: fear of success, judgment, not being enough. And a big one is this lack of clarity. Now, I've seen people, after a year on a high level, coaching program, and they still don't know what their target market is. And that was me for a good 6 months in my business. I kept changing it. I didn't really know who I was supposed to be. But if you're really struggling to get clarity on who you are, what you want to offer, what your packages are, ask yourself if it's really that you don't know, or that there's a big fear of what happens once you find out. So what do you have to do next? What happens if you do get clarity? Do you suddenly have to do all these other things that you've been putting off because you don't have the clarity? So really, really big one. A lot of people don't realize that having that lack of clarity it's blocking money, but it's stopping you moving forward. So really, really big one. So when we have all these fears, our subconscious kicks in. And we avoid the task, we procrastinate, we're self-sabotaging. and we're not doing what we know we should be doing, right? What we think we're supposed to be doing. I find a lot of people, when they avoid and procrastinate, unfortunately, and I often say I wasn't procrastinating in the gym. I'm in the fridge, I'm eating, I'm in total avoidance, going out drinking or whatever it was. I personally don't smoke or do drugs, but I've had my fair share of destructive behavior. And I've certainly been addicted to Facebook and social media, although I'm really trying hard to manage that. What are the consequences? The consequences, depending on your pattern and what you go to, is it could be weight gain, it could be lack of energy, less confidence, less self-worth, less motivation, and even more procrastination, because it's a vicious cycle. And then in this place, we're judging ourselves, we're feeling guilty, we're feeling shamed. And again, we're playing around in those bottom, really low vibration feelings for far too long. And a lot of people I work with have a lot of visibility issues, and that's part of my story. I haven't told you a huge amount about my story today, but my weight has been a big thing for me. I've been up and down with my weight, gaining and losing, 40 kilo, big chunks of weight. So from being really quite obese to being pretty slim and trim and doing my triathlons, and then something triggers me and I go crazy again. So for me, I've been hiding a lot of the time. When I'm feeling fabulous and fit, obviously I'm out there, but if I'm holding that weight, I'm hiding. And so when somebody's like, oh, you have to get a photo shoot for your business, you have to film videos, I just want to hide. Public speaking was a real challenge. When I knew I had to start and get over myself a little bit and just do it. So these things are really linked to all of this stuff as well, and we can really help to, when we break this pattern, to really increase and change those things. So by breaking the pattern, I'll explain in a sec how we do that a little bit more, but it's about replacing it with this love and clarity and trust and confidence and all these beautiful high vibration feelings. And it's just going to really perpetuate into lots of motivation, feeling good, taking action, and really improving your relationships. And sometimes it's losing weight and having more confidence and just feeling like you're so much more able to just go out and rock it in your world, right? Like just really own it and become a little bit more unapologetic for who you are and what you really stand for and what you believe. So really, really important to do that. So a couple of things I use, techniques I use to do this. One is emotional freedom technique. Really, really crazy. And it's one of the things that has really, I guess it was the start of all this. It was the start of me understanding the power of my subconscious. It was the start of me realizing that some of this, the reasons that I was doing what I was doing were deeper than I realized. And it was the start of knowing that I had the power to change my reality and to really take control and make those changes. So emotional freedom technique is a huge, huge one. Other stuff that I've been absolutely loving recently, and I don't have slides on this, I've been doing a lot of NLP, and as I mentioned, I'm heading off to do my master practitioner in that tomorrow. So really, I just find it absolutely incredible, and it's a way of going in and programming your subconscious at a really deep level. So we're changing your money blueprint. We're going in and actually giving ourselves the belief and let going of the fear, but giving ourselves those beliefs that if we'd had from childhood, that life would be a very different place. So knowing that we can go in and change that from now on, and that our thoughts do become things, and our life and our situation is only a product of our past thoughts. So by going in and being able to change what we believe at a subconscious level, our reality and our future can literally be designed. And I do truly believe that. So I absolutely cannot believe the power in all of this stuff. I think it's quite incredible. And another thing I've been doing a lot recently is more and more creative visualization. It's a really, really powerful tool. And I'm a very visual person, but it gives our subconscious like a direct command, and it's something it understands, and it's something that it can then start to create in your reality. So really, really powerful stuff. So what we're going to do today for our energy clearing, now let me just jump on. Great. Okay. So I'm going to do a quick refresh of the chat wing. And what we're going to do today is, now, can you see me? You probably can see me right now, possibly. Let me know in the chat box if you can see me. That'd be really helpful. Although we're going to have you closing your eyes. What we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through a sort of an energy clearing. So I've talked a lot about all of this stuff, and it's kind of like, all right, great. We know all of this stuff, but what's the most powerful thing is when we can, a lot of people as well, they don't know what their money story is. It's like, okay, I get it. I've probably got a money story. I've probably been programmed since I was a kid, and I'm worried that it might be holding me back. Okay, so that's maybe where you're at the moment. I'm not sure, I'm just guessing. It's probably where I'd be at. I'd be like, all right, smarty pants, you telling me I have a money story, but what the heck is it? Because trying to identify some of those beliefs, you're like, I don't have negative beliefs about money, but when we start examining them, it's amazing how many pop up that you wouldn't even realize you had. So what this first process is going to do, now I call it finding your money matrix. And it's a sort of a quick way of us identifying how you see yourself in relationship to money, what your emotional connection to money is, and how you feel about money. So that's what we're going to do first. That's going to be the first process. And then the second one we're going to do is letting go. So we're going to take that relationship and some of those pieces that may or may not serve us, and we're going to let them go. Okay. Now, I'm going to caveat all this. If you are driving, if you are, operating heavy machinery, please don't follow along. Listen to the replay. So really, really important that you're in a comfortable, safe space. And this process as well, things might come up for you. It might be handy to have a pen and paper so as you can write down any realizations you have. And it really is a choice. I'm not suggesting everybody does it, but you're very welcome to follow along with us. But I want you to just be aware that, I've had people have had some things come up that they weren't aware of. So, but I think it's a really amazing thing to do, and it's good to get some clarity on what's been driving you and what really is going on. So really, really important. So I think I've set it up enough. But yeah, so it's just don't overthink it. Just allow it to be whatever comes to you. I think that's the other piece is, I sometimes do processes with clients and I'm not quite sure where I'm supposed to be. And I'm like, it's okay. We're not trying to think this. This is nothing about logic. Okay. So we really want the answer to come from our subconscious, from that deeper part of us that knows, and it's so intelligent. It knows exactly what this is and what this is supposed to look like. So it really has allow that sort of higher intelligence within you to come up with these answers for this. Okay. And there again, there's no right or wrong. It's whatever it feels like to you. That's really, really important to just go with your feelings and to acknowledge that what comes up. I do a lot of this work on myself. I'm always I feel like I have to go first, and and clear this stuff, like I can't expect anybody else to if I don't go there. And some things will come up and I'm like, oh, it couldn't possibly be that. Oh my goodness. Or I don't want to say it out loud because it might hurt someone, so these, it might not make sense, but just go with whatever comes up and know that that's the right thing, and it might be the next thing that you need to work on. Okay, so I want you to get relaxed. Find a nice comfy spot, and make sure that you are in a place where you can relax and that you won't be disturbed, at least for the next maybe 5 or 10 minutes. So I want you to take a deep breath. A really deep breath down into your belly. And let it go. And then I want you to take another one. A really deep, long breath into your belly. And let it go. And we're going to take a third. A deep breath right down into your belly. And let it go. So with your eyes closed, I want you to imagine a room. It's just a square room. It's comfortably furnished. In that room, there is money. I want you to notice the money. Where is the money? Where is it in relation to you? Where is the money in relation to other furniture in the room? Where is the money in relation to the rest of the room? How easy or hard is it for you to hold on to the money or use the money? What are your feelings in that room with the money? What do you notice in your body? Are there any feelings or tensions, even tingling sensations? Is there anyone else in the room with you? And when you have that picture in your mind, I want you to notice how it feels. Just be very aware of how you feel about the money. What do you notice? All of these feelings and emotions are really key in determining how you feel about money and its relationship to you. This is your money matrix. How you feel about it is directly coded into your cells, all the way down to the deepest cells of your body. And when you notice how you feel in that room with the money, you really figure out what your true frequency is with money. And this is going to be the key that we're going to take into the next part of the process. I want you to answer some more questions first. Maybe you need to take some notes. Was it easy to see the money? Or was the money hiding? Was the money behind some big glass window? Or was the money dirty? Was the money in a box? Or was there just a little bit of money? Or was there a whole ton of money, but you couldn't access it even if it was there? Did you feel guilty about the money? Did you feel judged by anyone about the money? Did any part of you feel like you shouldn't be there in the room with the money? Did you feel like the money wasn't for you? Or did you even feel like you were stealing the money? What did you notice in that room? Really notice what your body is trying to tell you about money. Just take a few notes down if you feel you can. Just some of the key things that have happened in the room right now. Have you any thoughts or awarenesses coming up? Any memories or emotions from the past that come up for you about the money? Where else have you heard that story about money before? For instance, if you feel judged in that room about money, where else have you felt judged about money before? Was it a family member? Was it a friend or maybe an old colleague? If you felt you were stealing the money, have you ever felt like that before? Did you feel like you didn't deserve it? Maybe that'll bring up some memories too. Even if you don't think that they're relevant, I want you to just play along and assume that maybe they are. And just be aware of those memories and write them down. It's going to be really key for you because this is your money story. Don't dismiss any of the thoughts, memories, or emotions. They're very important and they've come to you at this time because they want you to be aware of them. And I want you to give these thoughts that awareness, because when they become a reality, we can acknowledge them and then we can let them go. And we can begin to create the freedom that's on the other side. If you had some realizations about what you actually believe about money, it's really, really therapeutic to write this out. Take a few notes and allow yourself to have this realization. And also write down if you have any of those tail enders that we've talked about. Any of the yeah rights or why me, or any other emotions that come up around money. I'll just give you a moment to think about it and write them down. So now we know how it felt with money in that room. This is your money matrix. And now we can begin to unravel where that story came from. And this is the absolute foundation and secret to figuring out all of this stuff. Any beliefs that money might be evil or bad or dirty, or even anything else you're telling yourself. This step is absolutely key. I want to lead you into the next part of the process. So we've identified what's coming up. I want you to breathe in deeply again. If you've been taking notes, I want you to put your pen down and close your eyes again. Take another deep breath. So now we have acknowledged and identified all of the parts of us that bring us our money story. All of these fears, blocks, old beliefs, and any new beliefs that we know we might want to have. So I'm going to walk you through a process to try and let some of that go. I want you to now imagine that you're outside. You're outside that room that was filled with all of those old emotions and problems and the money and the guilt and the feelings. You're outside and you're in a big open space. There's a bonfire and you're standing there looking into the flames contemplating your money story and whether it's time to let go of it. Is it time to let some of this story go up into flames? I want you to imagine that next to you, you have a mini version of the room with all of the money and the issues and the things in it. The people aren't in the room, just all of the money and the issues. I want you to be aware of those thoughts and emotions and everything that was inside that box. That room, maybe it was scary, is now just a little box. And one by one, if it feels good and it feels right, and it feels like the right time for you to do it, I want you to reach inside the box and take out anything that felt bad, any of those negative emotions and thoughts and feelings. I want you to reach into the box and throw out any of those negative thoughts and feelings. I want you to throw all of those pieces, the negative stuff, into the bonfire. And I want you to imagine them going up in smoke. They're gone. They're disappearing. And anything else that's still in that room that you still need to let go of, I want you to reach back down into that box again. Take out anything else that money represents, anything else that's negative, anything else you need to let go of. I want you to throw that onto the bonfire now. I want you to really feel like those are your money feelings, that they're your blocks and that they are the things stopping you. I want you to chuck them onto the bonfire and have a feeling of release when you do it. I want you to feel lighter, like you're releasing this stuff and letting go. I want you to take a deep breath and notice how much lighter you feel and how good that feels. But maybe you're not aware that your money story goes a little deeper. And I want you to invite anyone else that needs to be at that bonfire. Maybe someone else was in that room. Maybe that person needs to come to the bonfire too. Maybe it's a sibling. Maybe it's one of your parents. Maybe it's even one of your grandparents. Who did you hear those things from as a child? Who else needs to transform their money story? Who else can come to this big old energy clearing bonfire? Who else would you love to be there? And when they get there, welcome them. Tell them that they only have to do this if they want to. Welcome them and tell them that you are so grateful that they're there and that they want to go through this journey with you. Let them know that it's only their choice and it's up to them whether or not they do it. And one by one, they go around the circle and they start to throw all of their stuff into the bonfire. All of their negative beliefs, all of their money stories that have been holding them back for so many years. They throw it all into the bonfire. It goes up in smoke and it disintegrates immediately too. Everyone throws their stuff into the middle. They're so over this. Everyone is letting go. And you can see the relief in them too. You can feel it. You can see their shoulders relax. All that tension that's been going on is disappearing. And it feels good for them to let go too. Give everyone a moment to put all of their stuff into the bonfire, everything they need. Let go of everything they need to let go of. And if you have anything else that you've realized that you need to let go of, you can put that back in the bonfire now. Anything else you need to let go of, And when you're all done and everything's gone, if it feels good, I want you to all hold hands. Thank each other. Acknowledge each other for the powerful letting go they've just done. And really feel that connectedness, the connectedness to all of the people, all of those loved ones and anyone else that needed to be there. Feel that calmness come over all of you. But also start to feel that excitement build up all the way from your toes, up through your legs and through your body. This excitement is the feeling and the knowing that you have just done something really powerful. Let it flood your body. It feels good to have let that stuff go. And then if it feels right and it feels good in this beautiful place, I want you to imagine it filling up with energy and light. And hug those people. Tell them that you are so grateful for what they have done. Tell them that you're glad that they went through this experience with you. And if it feels right, tell them that you love them. Only if it's appropriate. And now, let them go. They've done the work too, and you've done that work. Acknowledge yourself now for having done this. Be kind to yourself and know that this excitement is real and that you now have that power within you to change and to live this life that you deserve. And when you're ready, open your eyes and take a deep breath. Really breathe, take another breath. Center back into your now, into where you are today. Take another deep breath. That was pretty powerful, right? I had so many realizations for myself when I did that process. Letting go of all of that stuff is incredibly powerful. And allowing other people to let go too is really, really amazing. There's been a lot of work done recently showing that your visualizations can actually powerfully impact others too. So you've not just done this work for yourself, but also powerfully impacting those other people in a really positive way. Very, very powerful stuff. With all that said, I'm sure you're feeling pretty beautiful in a fuzzy kind of floaty place. And I'm just going to go back and share my screen again. I have something I want to show you. Let's see. This one. All right, slideshow. Here we go. Oh, we don't want to go through it all again. All right, so what we did there was breaking some of our pattern. Really, really powerful to let that go and really feel that we have replaced it with this beautiful, positive energy. The thing I wanted to talk to you about today, and I'm aware that some of the things that have come up for you potentially today didn't all go up in flames in that bonfire. And all of this stuff, maybe you had some realizations that you didn't even know you had. And I really want to be able to support anyone through that process and really allow them to let go of any of those pieces holding them back so as they can really step through and get that breakthrough that they need in their business. Whether it's about breaking through your financial comfort zone or really allowing yourself to get clarity. What is my target market? Who am I serving? Maybe it's time to increase your rates or increase your confidence and really become visible and stand out online. All of these pieces are so, so important for your business and for really taking it to the next level. Or maybe, you know, a lot of that's working and you need to master your sales calls with some really cool processes and maybe even some hypnotic NLP language. So there are lots and lots of pieces going on that I would love to be able to support you with. I love working with people that have already done some of this work, but you know, they've done everything that they should do, but they're maybe still not quite seeing the results. It's almost like they're on the edge of this, on something amazing and this big breakthrough. So if you do feel like you would love some support, I would love to be available to speak with you and to really help you and mentor you through this journey. Really, really powerful. As a bonus for being on this call and for being just generally amazing people, I'm throwing in my 6 weeks money block course into anyone that signs up for my private mentorship within the next 2 weeks. So, well, that will definitely be included, but anyone that, oh, is it on here? Anyone that does sign up within the next 2 weeks. Oh, I haven't even put it on here. Oh, wow. They also are getting $500 off the price of my private coaching. And you will also be first in line to get into my group program as well. So I would really love to help you through this journey, but I do know that it's not for everybody, and I would love to offer anybody on this call a complimentary money blocks assessment to really see if working with me is the right thing, how we get on, and also to sort of figure out what is actually holding you back. So if you'd like to sign up for one of those, feel free to do that, and we can have we can really talk and see what's going on with you and your business, and really figure out whether working together would be the right thing for both of us, because obviously it works both ways. So if you would be up for that, please go and check out my website, missionforbalance.com. You can learn more about my private coaching at missionforbalance.com/private-coaching, or sign up for a complimentary 30 minutes money blocks assessment. So a few options for you there. I absolutely love working with people. I love really transforming my clients' lives. I love really getting them powerful, powerful results. And it means so much to me, because I hate seeing people stuck in a place where they just, you know, they're in a fearful place, or they're spinning and they've done all this hard work and it's just not quite working out for them. So I am so, so passionate and really want to help people overcome all this stuff, rewrite it, change your beliefs, and really just empower you from a really deep subconscious level. So that is some of the stuff I do. I also do a lot of business and strategy work as well, depending on what's going on. But I do find that letting go, the whole coaching package, is so much more powerful when you let go of the fears and the stuff first, and then we can powerfully move on and start creating real magic in your business. So thank you so much. If you are curious, please head on over to my website, missionforbalance.com/private-coaching, or just hop on over there and just book straight in for Money Blocks assessment, and we can have a chat and figure out if this is something that's right for you. So lovely to speak to you. And actually, just if anybody wants to pop into the chat wing before you go and let me know how you got on with our visualization, because, and also I would love to know, if you don't pop it in the chat box, you can email me with how you got on. I am like, what means more to me is like when people have these realizations, even on this webinar, and something shifts for them, that is going to make my day. So if you don't feel comfortable sharing in the chat box, or in my Facebook group, if you're in there, Healthy, Wealthy and Visible, I'd love to know what your experience is, or just email me, jo@missionforbalance.com. I love to know what people's experiences are like and how they felt and what's going on for them. So please, I'd love for you to share that in the group or with me if you'd prefer not to, or prefer to do it anonymously. So if you do want to, I'm just going to put the website in here again in the chat box, missionforbalance.com, and then you can get your free call on there as well. So hopefully I will speak to some of you very soon, and please let me know how you get on. I'm here for you, and if you have any questions or concerns, or if anything came up that was unexpected, please reach out and let me know. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure, and I hope you got a lot out of that. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.